What am I quitting? No, cancel. Welcome to the pre-show. Just getting all my junk set up to go live in 3 or 4 minutes here. Okay, that's not the one I want on. I want this, and I want new. And that's the recording for the audio for tonight. And I think I'll just start it right now. That way it's started and we know it's going. And let's see. I'm going to start the stream. No, I don't need to learn anything more about audio. Boom. Stream's going, so we got a little echo going until I get my my headset plugged in. How's everybody tonight? I hope you're good. I hope you enjoy this preamble to the shows when it's not really anything worth broadcasting. We're just doing a little pre-show to get ourselves up and running before the show starts. And hopefully you can find a way to enjoy that. Now, we had something else planned for tonight that didn't work out today. What time is it? 3:20. There's my glasses. All right. I was going to have my friend Wendy from England on, and we were thinking we were going to have to pre-record her because of the 6-hour difference. When this show airs at 9 tonight, it's already 3 a.m. in Great Britain. So let's see. Let me just make sure everything's going. All right. Mic is up. Y'all can hear me. We got 25 seconds and we go live. So all of you stand by. Those of you new, we're going to go dark for a minute. Well, a few seconds before the show starts. In about 15 seconds. So all of you sit tight. I'll be right back.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Well, happy Friday evening, everybody. This is Scotty Roberts, your host here on the Intrepid radio program, right here on Odyssey Radio. Go over to Odyssey Radio at ODYSYradio.com. See all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio and all the shows and the lineup and the schedule and all of the good stuff that's over there. You can also, if you're listening to this show in the audio format only over on Odyssey, you can also view the simulcast in video. You can do that at YouTube. That's youtube.com/Odyssey Radio. And you can come over to the YouTube channel, and that's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And join the other Intrepids who are here already. I see a bunch of you. Didn't get a chance to say hello in the pre-show, but I did see Gaza is here from New Zealand. Good to have you, brother. Haven't seen you for a while. And Paige Rockwell, Sean Stroik, Grumpy Stack from Louisiana, Matthew Sainsbury from Barbados. I know they don't talk that way there, but it just sounds like Barbados. That's like Antonio Banderas. I am from Barbados. But you have a more of a Caribbean thing going on down there. Elderberry is here. Field Guy, Barbie D, Matthew Finn, Master Finn. And I want to say thank you publicly, Master Finn, for purchasing your copy of The Sword in the Clay. And anybody else who would like a copy of that, you just go over to, guess where? theswordintheclay.com. And you can see the book. You can see different versions of what you can buy and different stuff over there. Some swag, some historical Roman World War I swag. So go check that out. And so everybody else who's over there, if I missed you, it's not for Leslie Hoker. I see Leslie over there. Leslie, I just got to tell you, for the public world, the world to hear, your package went out today. That one that's been sitting here for so long, and plus other things. Other than so it's all the old stuff and the new stuff all went out in a package to you today. So you should see it any day. Those of you who've ordered The Sword in the Clay, those books will be coming into our studio here by the end of the first week of May at the latest, sometime during the first week of May. And then they'll ship out from here. So I want to thank you all. She says yay with a very long yay in the chat room. Those of you listening on air, those of you listening who are not part of the chat room and the family here, have no idea what we're talking about. So, but just having a little fun with some of our people that are regulars over in the chat room. By the way, if you are in the YouTube chat room, you can also click below the window, the video window, and click on the join button. And then you'll be able to join this channel. You'll see ways to do that. And also, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And please give this show a thumbs up tonight on the YouTube channel. That just helps me all around as I'm doing stuff. We can do a weekend show, Field Guy. You know, I just hit that button accidentally. So there you go. Grumpy Stack just appeared up on the screen if you're watching. And so we've been talking about this whole thing of the spirit of your house. And it's kind of a fine line because there is that spirit of the house that is the spirit that is made up of the energies, the earth beneath, the elements that the house is made out of, all the things. And then there's the spirit that is created in the house by the things we bring to it. And we've been talking about that all week. And we're going to talk about it in the next week, too, because there's a lot more stuff to this. But we're going to hit that topic again tonight and talk about that. We are also, I started to mention my friend in the pre-show, we were going to have my friend Wendy Robertson on tonight. And we're going to start putting together a little segment called Robertson. Robertson. That was her idea. And just the similarity of names there. And she is a psychic friend of mine. I've known her for quite a number of years in Great Britain. And if you are on my Facebook, you can look her up, Wendy Robertson. You can see who she is. And same with my Instagram. And she happens to be, by the way, she's a psychic. She has been a counselor of some kind of crisis counselor over the years. And she is one of the few Brits out there that bought and had shipped over from America it had to be a 67. Why do I go blank on this? Come on, guys, help me out. The car they had in the show Supernatural. It was a 67. Why do I go blank? Because my brain is dull these days. That's why. You got to help me out. I'm coming out of a period of my brain in a funk lately. Nothing too serious, but somebody knows what that car is. And I would think Matt Finn would know right off the top of his head. You never watched the show, Field Guy. I liked the show. It had its campy moments, but it was a fun show in the respect that when they started really getting into the mythos of the angelic and the demonic, and the wars in heaven and so on, I think they had some people writing that stuff and writing some of the magical stuff, the spell stuff, that knew their shit. And so that was a really good show. It's not a Chevelle, a 69 Impala. Oh, wait, I think this was a 67 Impala, if I'm not mistaken. Grumpy Stack wants your extra furniture, by the way, everybody. So you want a project you want to do. You going to come pick it up? 67 Chevy Impala, said Romeldian. Thank you, Romeldian. Let me take a sip of my tea. And if you're watching the video, yes, that is the Cheshire Cat mug. It's one of my daughter's mugs. All the other mugs were dirty. All of my mugs were, you know what happens? The kids, when they want to drink something, they'll go grab my cool coffee mugs, from my Harry Potter mug to my Star Trek mug to my Intrepid mug to, and suddenly the cupboard's bare. And we go down into their rooms, and that's where we find them. All my mugs and other dishes and stuff. It's like, you're not supposed to eat in your room. But there's dishes stacked up in their rooms all the time. So there you go, Romeldi and Dean Winchester. You're along with my 10-year-old daughter on that one. So let me take a sip. Hot tea. Black tea. And so there's something that kind of goes along the lines of supernatural that I kind of wanted to hit tonight. I want to talk about a little bit about shadow people. Have any of you ever seen shadow people? Have you ever gone paranormal investigating or researching or even ghost hunting and run across these things? Have you seen these things? Matt Finn says, can't the man have one mug? One thing like mugs sacred to him? No, we can't, Matthew Finn. We cannot. So this is what I got tonight, because that's all I could find when I was making tea. I don't drink a lot of tea, but I didn't want to make coffee tonight at 9:00 at night. Sometimes I'd have coffee, but I didn't want to make coffee. And I thought, tea sounds kind of good. And so I got a cup of tea here in the Cheshire Cat mug. Can I help you? I'm on radio. Hi, that was Rowan, in and out. Field Guy sees ghosts all the time. I've seen a few shadows in my day, but never really a full-blown shadow person. Now, the reason I kind of brought this up too, because my wife put up a post on her Facebook in the middle of the night last night. And that post that she put up, and it kind of surprised me. I got up before everybody else, and I was having coffee this morning, and she had this post up that was an article that said, I'm just calling it up here in front of me, the hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. Shadow people and demon bunnies is what it's called. And it's talking about leading up to and after the diagnosis. The author says, my diagnosis of narcolepsy with cataplexy, excessive daytime sleepiness, most interfered with my quality of life. The sleepiness preoccupied my daily thinking, but that was the only part of my reality. The partial and full body cataplexy were consistent frustrations as well. While the daytime symptoms were the most obvious, some of the sleep-related symptoms were terrifying and equally impactful. These days, I understand the profound impact of hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. And you have to ask, what are those things? And I kind of referred to her with hypnopompic, kind of lightheartedly after she put up this post. Well, hypnagogic hallucinations are visual, auditory, or tactile hallucinations, tactile touch and feel, that take place between awake and sleep. Hypnopompic hallucinations are visual, auditory, or tactile hallucinations that take place between sleep and awake. And so many times these symptoms are also associated with sleep paralysis, the inability to move the head or the body or to properly breathe. And they've identified these symptoms. Shadow people and the man in the hat. The shadow people are a common experience for many people with narcolepsy. These dark, and what narcolepsy is, you can kind of fall asleep at any time, anywhere. Just kind of like you could be talking to and you're out. And so the shadow people are a common experience for people with narcolepsy. Excuse me. These dark, shadowy figures appear in the bedroom, can be intruders that are breaking in, or are ominous, frightening presences. And now this is for the people who have these sleeping disorders that you see these things. And so you can go through all of this stuff that this particular author writes about and just start to dissect these, what is sleep. And I see where she's going with this, is that these things are kind of things that you see because it's brought on by narcolepsy or brought on by any number of things that are related to sleep disorder, which makes it more of a psychological thing. Or is it a thing that your senses are are heightened, or not less heightened? What's the word I'm looking for? You're not infringed by your cognitive awareness of something. You're in that almost sleep state, and so things can happen to you like in dreams. You can see things more. That's the big question. And she talks in her article here about the demon bunny in my hypnagogic hallucination, the auditory hallucinations. In addition to the demon bunny, she said, I also experienced auditory hallucinations. As I am drifting off to sleep, I have often hollered for my daughters to keep it down because I'm trying to sleep, only to realize that my kids are with their mom. Oh, this is a guy who wrote this article. I will hear people outside my window mumbling indecipherably, only to peer out my window and discover no one's there. So as with the visual and the tactile varieties, I've gotten to a place where these auditory hallucinations don't cause me much distress. It's the new normal I've adjusted to, says the author. And by the way, I just got to clear that up. Yeah, the author is Matthew Horsnell. And so he goes on, he concludes his article by saying, raising awareness and reducing stigma. When I'm describing my symptoms to those without narcolepsy, these hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations usually elicit the "you serious?" furrowed eyebrow. And these hallucinations have been misinterpreted by many medical professionals and led to more than a few misdiagnoses of schizophrenia or other psychiatric conditions. So talking about these symptoms helps to reduce stigma, helps to raise awareness. That's what the world's strongest person having narcolepsy with cataplexy is all about. Now, I don't know what that was all about in his article, but I'm going to disagree with a couple of points that he makes. I think sometimes when you're seeing things in the dark, you're seeing things in the dark. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are hallucinating in any way, shape, or form. And I have seen things, and I've been fully awake. I don't think it's hypnagogic or hypnopompic. These are things that I see and things that I know people who have seen other things like this. And so there's another little article that I pulled up by a Shannon Moose, and it's called The Shadow People Who Dwell in My Room. Now, I know that when I even talk about this stuff in more technical terms, my own kids get a little freaked out. You're seeing shadows in the room? I saw shadows in my room, Dad, and et cetera, et cetera. And so do any of you, Leslie said it helps that I have to wear glasses to see. I don't have them on at night. It makes it hard to see things in the dark. Now, I've captured more things on film and auditory things, on recordings and so on. Rainey is the one between the two of us who sees things. She sees many times she's seen things. And so if you have experienced any of this, have you experienced it from being outside the realm of being somebody who is into investigating these things? Because perhaps the investigators who look for this stuff, it's one of two things. Either they want to see something really bad and they will make something up, or their mind will see something, or they will turn a little movement out of the corner of the eye, or any little shadow is something ghostly. The other side of that coin is that they're seeing actual things, and because they do the research and they do the investigations, they are more open to it. And the more you do these things, I believe, the more you open yourself up to it. So you're going to see more and more and more of it, and experience more and more and more of it. So Leslie says some people are just more sensitive when it comes to spirits. Exactly. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, but let me ask you guys a question. And if Uncle Dave makes it in tonight, maybe we'll talk about this a bit. Let me ask you guys. When I was in the church and studying theology, all the ghost experiences, now I wasn't into it that much. I was curious about it. But the explanation or the answer for all of that through the church, theologically, was that it's all the demonic. It's demonic mimicking. You're not really seeing the ghost of your grandfather, or there's not really a ghost that appeared to you. This is all things that happen because Satan is in charge of the world and his minions and the demonic realm. And Satan is the prince of the power of the air, as the Bible puts it, and that this is his realm, and he will do anything to distract humans from following God. That's the theological explanation for ghosts. And you're seeing demons mimicking ghosts, things like that. And I was thinking just this morning, when I was reading through some of this, I thought, we see an awful lot of ghosts. I've seen an awful lot of personalities, if you will, in ghosts. Is that the demonic, like the church taught me? Is that, or here's a twist on it. Is this, remember in the book of Revelation, how it talks about all of humanity in there? They've all died, and this is now the end of time as we know it. And the great ocean of humanity will be brought before the great white throne judgment, in which the Son of Man, or Jesus himself, is seated on this throne of judgment. And when this happens, all lives will be recounted, and you will be look to see if your name appears in the Lamb's book of life, and all these prophetic terms that are brought up in the book of Revelation. And those who are not found will then be cast into the lake of fire, according to the book of Revelation. And so the question is this, that I wonder, are all these spirits we encounter actually the spirits of people who have gone on before? Are they the unregenerated, the non-believing in Jesus, the non-believing in the Savior? Is this who they truly are? And these are all the souls that are asleep, so to speak. They have passed on, but they're in the middle stage, and they will all appear in this great ocean of humanity before the great white throne judgment, and at the end of time. So there's the first question I had. And the next one is, are any of the ghosts that have passed over that we've encountered, and I don't know that I've never asked these questions of a ghost when I've had the opportunity to communicate, with the little brief snippets that you can get back and forth with interactivity. Are you a Christian? So here's the question. Now I'm basing this all on a Christian structure out of the book of Revelation. if all the ghosts are possibly the ghosts of those who've passed on, but they're ghosts because they weren't believers, because doesn't the Apostle Paul in the New Testament say, absence from the body is presence with the Lord? This is what he's talking about with death of believers. Now, is he using poetic language there? Is his theology on the mark? Is that the truth of the matter? Is absence with the body presence with the Lord? So, in essence, you would have to say that no Christian could have a ghost left behind, because if they're a believer, according to the Apostle Paul, Pauline New Testament, once that Christian dies, he is present with the Lord. Now, can they interact after that? I don't know. Leslie says the soul is who we are. The body is merely the vessel. Sean Stroik says, let me know when they're coming for me. Oh, maybe that's something, a different context. So there are the big questions. Is it something that is, and is that only then limited to those who believe in Jehovah God, Elohim God, and Jesus Christ? Does that mean everybody else who believes in a different God is hellbound? And so this opens up all those questions of theology. And are they the ones that are left behind because they have no eternal life in God? Because they will all perish. And and that's why we can see their spirits. That's why some of them can manifest. That's why they're so sad. That's why they're so lost. You rarely come across, it seems, a happy spirit. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I died. But I'm over here now. Now, I do take that back. I did have the spirit of my aunt who passed on, and I told you this story about Michael and Marty Perry, who did a psychic mediumship reading for me. And they're the ones, you've seen them on Ghost Adventures. They're the couple. He's British, she's American. And she does artwork. She does drawings with a dead headset on while he does his psychic gig. And I was at an event with them, speaking at an event, and they were there. And I was up in their hotel room. They did a reading for me. This is 12 years ago, maybe. And their reading, he didn't want to know anything about me, and he didn't know me very well back then. And so he didn't want to know any details. And he started picking up on people that were people out of my life. My aunt being one. He says, I see a woman. She's small framed, red hair, very bubbly. And this is what made me think of this. And he said, she seems really happy and bubbly and jumping up and down, wanting to get my attention. And he was actually talking to her as he's talking to me. He says, all right, love, I see you, love. He says, I see you. And he says, she said her name is Sandy. He said, I'm getting Sandy. And his wife, Marty, then, she took off the headset. So she either heard him or got something on her own and said, it's not Sandy. She said, it's Andy is what she's saying. My aunt was Andrea. And so she got to talking. She was giving him some information. Then she had to go get someone else who wanted to talk to me and brought my grandfather in. And he was the one that put his hand, he's putting his hand on his chest saying, I was the money. Meaning, he was the one that made sure we didn't go under. Who are these ghosts? Are these ghosts? Are they demonic? Are they mimickers of real people? What do they have to do? Is the scriptural version of what happens at death, is that correct? And if so, are these demonic mimickers? Are they real ghosts of real people that will someday have to stand in the white throne judgment? Are they, any of them, Christian? I know my aunt and my grandfather were not Christian by profession. By profession of faith, they were not Christian. They were Jewish. And so here's the big question. Who are we encountering? Who are these ghosts? Well, the shadow people who dwell in my room is the other little article I have up in front of me here. And this is the one written by Shannon Moose. And she talks about hypnopompic hallucinations. That's a vivid, dreamlike hallucination that occurs as one is waking up. And that's the hypnopompic, hypnopompic. As you wake up, you get these. The other is as you're going to sleep, the hypnagogic. So this is what occurs when one's the opposite is the hypnagogic. It happens when you're falling asleep. So this person says, I've always been afraid of the dark. This fear is quite common until you find you can't go back to sleep until the sun comes up. I would stare at the shadows that stood in the corners of my room. I would lay in my bed, stiff as a board, hoping they would not move, listening for movement. There were nights I feared hearing drums. Growing up in Hawaii, we were told the stories of the night marchers, the warrior spirits of the Hawaiians, who marched from the mountains to the sea, banging ceremonial drums in rhythm with their journey along an ancient path. To fall on their path would be your death. They take your soul. The fear from that only added up as I grew interested in ghost stories and horror movies. And then the shadows began to move. Now, there's a lot that can happen because we prime our imaginations to see things. Last night, now Rainey was sleeping down here with the kids last night, the girls. I went up to our bedroom and I turned on the news after the show last night. And I'm sitting there. Oh no, I actually turned on Ghost Adventures. Their new episode was out last night for the season. And the shows don't scare me. I don't sit there and go, ooh, I got to have my lights on now. No, I enjoy watching. But it's right at the very beginning of the show. And I'm sitting in the bedroom upstairs. And I feel a chill come through from behind me. I'm sitting on the end of the bed looking at the TV. And it comes from behind me. I get chills go all up and down my arms, the back sides of my arms. And I feel chill on my back. Now, there's no ceiling fan in there. There's no draft in there. And I got up and I walked around a bit. I was actually going to get up after last night's show and maybe burn a little sage up there. Didn't know what was what. You know, my kids see stuff all the time. I see movement and stuff, all of that kind of stuff. So, so this stuff happens. And so as I'm reading this guy's article, that made me think of that. Now he talks about the little girl. He says, the most vivid experience must have been when I was 10. I was sleeping over at a friend's house in the living room couches. They were there. They were in an L shape, and my feet were pointed toward the kitchen. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling rather thirsty. I thought about getting something to drink, and then I saw someone in the kitchen standing on a step stool. I thought it must be my friend grabbing a snack from the cabinet. Then I turned my head and saw my friend sound asleep on the couch next to me. This particular situation always makes me uneasy due to proximity. Since that encounter, most of my hallucinations have been right in front of me. She talks about exploding heads. I've struggled with paranoid thoughts that people were outside in the backyard trying to get into my house. To add to this delusion, I was convinced they had guns. The reason for this is the brain wiring. It's called exploding head syndrome. Believe it or not, that's a thing. In short, when you're about to drift off to sleep, you're jerked awake by a loud noise. It's literally all in your head. Now, what's interesting is I see a lot of these people that are writing these articles talking about these things. They're doing it while they're asleep. Now, I think a good way to start separating the wheat from the chaff, as it were, in these kinds of settings is to determine what's happening while I'm sleeping or half asleep or in that slumber state, that hypnagogic state or that hypnopompic state, or what's happening when I'm fully wide awake. For me, the shadow figures and things I've seen, most of what I see doesn't happen when I'm slumbering. It doesn't happen when I'm sleeping. It doesn't even happen when I'm in that half sleep, as it were, between awake and sleep. It usually happens when I'm fully awake. And so that's how I can tell the difference with my experiences. So I saw somebody give a good Bible quote here, is what Matthew Sainsbury says. I'm looking for what that was. Something further back, or was it one I made? I don't know. So I'm not seeing the source point of that. The antecedent for your comment, Matthew Sainsbury, over in the chat room. But so you can gauge some of your experiences by your state of wakefulness. Now, I've been jerked out of my sleep before by my brain, either shouting or doing it. I've also been woken up. Is this my brain doing this? Have you had this happen to you before? I remember many years ago, I had a flight to catch. And I went to bed. And of course, you're a little worried about waking up on time. So I had to get up early to go catch this flight. And you have 2 alarms set to make sure that you're not going to miss your flight. And I remember being woken up about 2 minutes before my alarm was supposed to go off. Now, I hear stories of that all the time. But the waking up part was what was interesting. I heard a woman's voice say, "Scotty, wake up." And this is when I was single, by the way, before I knew Rainey. And so, meaning there was nobody in the room with me. And so, Scotty, wake up. And I distinctly heard the voice and I woke up. Was that psychological? Or was this was also in a house where it was found that there was a spirit dwelling there? How to make a long story short, a spirit in the house that was attached to me since she had died 13 years earlier and had been a former girlfriend, and that she was attached to me. And this was back in 2005. Rainey, I knew Rainey, and Rainey and I were just starting to date at the time when that was discovered. And I told that story once before. Was it something like that? Was it a spirit that was attached to me? Was it a guiding spirit? Or was it my overactive jackrabbit imagination that was working overtime, my psychological imagination waking me up at the rate of my body clock waking me up? Always happens when I'm awake, says Morgan Snow. There it is. Every ghost experience I've ever had has not happened when I was sleeping and it woke me up, or I was in that dream state in between. So, definitely a believer in attachments, said Matt Finn. Yeah, me too, frankly. Negative and positive. You're right. I agree with you. This author goes on and says, the witching hour. One night, a particularly exhausting night, oh, by the way, since Matt Finn is right there, I got to say, Matt Finn, if you did not see the title for tonight's show, hailing back to a comment you made very early in the show last night, tonight's short title is brought to you, our sponsor for that is Matt Finn. The short title for tonight's show. We're online right now, Dave Potter. Remind me when we're online when I call in, because I got a great early morning ghost story. Okay, good. Cool. Well, it's always happened to me when I've been awake. Every experience I've had, other than dreams, which are in the dead of sleep. So this author goes on, says, one night, a particularly exhausting night, I was jolted awake by my exploding head. My body was paralyzed and felt cold. I was laying on my back, and right above me, hovering parallel with my body, was a ghostly-looking woman. Her hair was long and white, her dress was tattered, and she had long fingers that curled at the ends, and all I could do was mutter, "Oh my God." And I quickly shut my eyes. No way, no way, no way, no way, no way. There was no way that thing was real. My heart was racing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't decide if I wanted to scream or for help or cry. My entire body was shaking, but I needed to open my eyes. I took a deep breath and opened them. She was gone. But her image remains burned forever in my memories. I refer to her as the witch. He goes on. And says, following Witch's debut, I have had countless encounters with similar hallucinations. He calls them hallucinations, but none as frightening as the witch. The most pleasant were palm trees, tall trunks, whimsical palm leaves waving in the non-existent wind. 3 or 4 of them spaced across my room, and slowly they would fade away. And there have been other spooky ones, spiders, for instance, frantically flailing their long legs as they descend from the ceiling. This is the most common vision people see. The description of spider is totally in those who experience these particular types of hallucinations. Recently, I've been seeing wisps, almost like plant-like puffs, slowly floating by. I watch as they slowly disappear, like a bubble that doesn't pop but begins to dissipate. Now, my own son Flynn, my 12-year-old boy, going on 13 very quickly here, when he was about 4 or 5, he would come into our bed and he would talk about the fish that he would see swimming around his room in the air at night. And they unsettled him. And so he would come and crawl in with us. Now, what was he seeing? I don't know. He said he was awake. I've had dreams, I've had nightmares and things, but they're never while I'm in that half state. This author goes on and says, the shadow people. My boyfriend was spending a night away with my daughter. And my daughter was sleeping soundly in her room. I had a nightcap following dinner. You can tell that's probably a person my age group who wrote this, because how many Gen Xers or Gen Zs talk about having a nightcap? That's an old term for having a drink before bed. I had a nightcap following dinner, and I laid down to sleep. I don't remember falling asleep, but I heard a tap sound that woke me hours later. To my left, I saw a shrouded figure, slowly standing taller and taller. His arms began to open wide, and his head lifted slow. I shut my eyes, hoping it was my hallucinations. He disappeared. You guys hear that? That's Rainey singing upstairs. Not singing, not beautiful lyrics. She's howling at the dog and singing with the kid or something. So a few weeks later, I woke to a man in a yellow shirt standing next to my bedside. Having never seen color on these shadows, I yelled out, "What the fuck?" My boyfriend woke and thought there was a man in the house. So did I. After the research I've done, I am an understanding of my experiences with sleeping. I still wonder, who was the little girl in my friend's kitchen? That's how she ends her article. So I ask you all again, what have you seen? What have you experienced? Matt Finn says succubus. I'm seeing some of your comments now. They're very interesting. Matt Finn said, indeed, I did see it. You, sir, are a funny guy. What did I miss? Something. Let's see. I got to go back. Gotta go back. I don't know, Matt Finn, if that was something I said that you're responding to or something else in the chat room. I don't see anything. So there's all kinds of these stories that are out there. Many of us, what I want to focus on is the things that happen to us, the things that we experience, what goes on, what's in our, and now this is a bit off topic, this whole thing on shadow people and seeing things and hypnagogic and hypnopompic and all of that. But it does play into what are the things we invite into our house? What is the spirit of our house? What's the spirit of your house? Is your house one that would, and I don't know how related these things are on a psychological level, but when you see things in that hypnagogic, hypnopompic state, let's just call it the half-sleep state. When you see those things, are those things that are coming out of your brain for a reason, or are those things that are outside your sphere of existence? Meaning, your consciousness. They're out there. They exist on their own without you. So there's the big question. And the things I've seen and experienced are not illusions. They're not delusions. They're not hallucinations. I've never ghost hunted drunk or high. I've ghost hunted and been a little tired at times, but not falling down, falling asleep. I actually had a good friend of mine who many years ago said, well, you saw that because it was 3 a.m, you were tired and you really needed to see a ghost. And I asked him, I said, you've known me for a long time. I said, have you ever known me to be a person that needs to make shit up in order to create a story of what I'm experiencing? I said, I'm there researching. And he goes, well, yeah, I guess you got me there. You're not that kind of person. So I didn't create something out of air. I saw what I saw. And that's as simple as it is. And you might have a psychologist or somebody who's a skeptic. Skeptics will always come along and try to give you a different reason for why you believe what you believed. Is that skepticism or is that denialism? I think a skeptic would be one that's an interesting experience you had. What has your research led you to find? And because when you come in and you deny, oh, it must be something else, that says to me you're not a skeptic. It says you've already got a preset practice of belief about what these kinds of phenomena actually are. And you go off of that predetermined set of beliefs. Well, I believe it can't be a ghost because that doesn't fit with my science or whatever. Therefore, it must be a number of these other things. That's not just saying, oh, there might be a lot of things out there. It might be a ghost. It might be this scientifically. It might be that psychologically. There's too many people that claim to be skeptic that are not skeptic at all. They're denialists. I think that is part psychologically a factor of flight or fight, is that they run away from it in their science by denying it and saying, it's obviously not a ghost. It's got to be something else. Let's look for everything in the book to try to define it. And if we can't define it, then we're going to say it is this out of your dream state or something. Well, what if I wasn't dreaming? Well, you must have been, and you just don't remember it right. I mean, this is the way a mind, a skeptical mind that's a denialist works. I call it a supernatural world, says Matt Finn in the chat room. And I agree. I believe there is a supernatural world. And as I've said many times, I don't believe so much in the supernatural. I believe it's all natural. The supernatural just meaning those veils we cannot pierce, those places that we do not see outright right in front of us. We got to dig for it a little bit. We do live in a mysterious world, Matthew Sainsbury. That's very true. And so, as far as some of the other things I wanted to talk about this spirit of the house issue. What's the spirit of your house? Rainey and I had an argument this morning, my wife and I. And so what's the spirit of your house like? Is the spirit of your house one that gets over those things because the spirit of the house is good? I had a issue with my daughter this morning, my 10-year-old, and I got really pissed off at her attitude. And so we look at that, we go, what's causing the pissed off? Is it because I'm just pissed off because I'm frustrated with the attitude? Or is there more of a spirit in our house that we've allowed to creep in? And so I like to look at those things and determine what's going on. And I think we all can do that. I think the spirit of our house can be either influenced for the dark or the light by us, or we, conversely, are influenced by the light or dark that we've let in or that we're built on. Sometimes we haven't even let it in. It's just there. Like I talked last week about the old farmers, the old couple that Travis Thorpe saw in Rainey's and my old house in the woods in the farmland that's just beyond it. So they had farming land out here, 100 more years ago. So that kind of a thing. So I think I want to kind of start to wrap this by talking about, at least for tonight, about mindful meditation. And mindful meditation can ease stress. It can boost creativity. It can increase your focus. It can promote empathy. And these are all valuable life tools. It can you start adding meditation to enhance magical living in your home. It's not required, but it offers another tool to tap into your inner thoughts. It's like the burning of the sage or the palo santo. And I had sage in here and stuff last night. The burning of this, I did some burning of this morning just to cleanse the air a bit. And these are all tools that we can use in making our homes filled with the spirit that we want in our home. Now, is the spirit what we create, or is the spirit something we've invited in? I think it's all those energies, yes, combined. So you can tap into your inner thoughts and your inner feelings when you meditate. That can become the intentions that you set to achieve your goals in your home and in your personal life. Mindful meditation is the practice of being present, being in the moment, being here, being awake, and being aware that you are awake and in the moment. It's that moment that's different from everything that's going on around you. All the good stuff, all the crap, all of that is all the flotsam and jetsam of the world around us. It's not who we are. It's not the awake, aware of who we are. So this meditating helps bring you into that, and it's such a nebulous thing. It's not a tangible, like I can say here in this box is this thing. We open that up, and now you can take the pieces out, and it works. A lot of this is the intangible. It's the stuff of the mind. It's the stuff of the soul. Does that mean it's all psychological? Well, if you want to believe that science, the scientific explanation, that everything we do, all our emotions and our empathies and everything is all chemical reactions in the body, yes, they cause those. So is it just that, or is there something else? Mindful meditation is the practice of being present in the moment, paying attention to your body, especially your breathing, your emotions, your sensations, your thoughts. And when your mind wanders, and it's going to during meditation, recognize it and return your focus to your breathing. All without judgment. Meditation isn't about turning out everything in our lives, tuning out everything in our lives, but rather tuning into the present, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. Again, without judgment, and being with ourselves. So as with all things we learn, mindful meditation takes practice, consistency, even a few minutes a day. And once you begin to feel the benefits in your life, you're going to crave that quiet peace that meditation can give you. So that's where all of this stuff from the shadow people, are you seeing things? If you see these things, is it because you're in that state of mind where you're half asleep? Are there other problems in your life that are causing the psychological factors that help you see that? It's like dreaming outwardly. Or are these real things? What are you drawing into your home? I don't think it's bad to draw in the energies and the spirits, but sometimes it's more than that. We'll talk more about this. We're going to be around for the Captain's Cabin after the show. The show's coming to an end in a few seconds. And once that happens, stick around in the chat room. We'll be here. And for now, live long and prosper.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Well, I thought we were back, and I clicked a button by accident. There you go. That was Sunday morning show. Now we're back for the captain's cabin. Arr. So hope you're all doing well and enjoyed that show. I went to a place with that I wasn't expecting to go. So we didn't even get to topic tonight. So, but I hope you enjoyed it instead. Matt Finn, I'm just seeing posts here, so I'm going to look at them. In fact, post World War II in Britain, there was no media outlet that wasn't state-run, but I will say you probably can learn some undeniable truths on those programs. See, I'm not sure which programs you're talking about, so I have to look back a little bit. Good night, Leslie. Glad that you were in here tonight. I hope I didn't miss you to say good night. I'm going to try and get some sleep, she says. So, Michelle Canham-Free, good to see you. Glad you're here. Let's see if anybody else wandered in. Barbie D is here. And, of course, everybody here is a Captain's Clubhouse, he says. Always got to be the contrariest. What's the word for that? The contrary person. The contrarist. Going against the flow. So, Leslie Holker, she's gone. Uncle Dave is here somewhere. Oh, he needs the link. Here, Uncle Dave, I'll give you the link. I'll put it in the chat room. Copy to the clipboard and paste it and send it. There you go, Uncle Dave. There is the link right there to come on in and chat with me a bit. I'm kind of brain dead tonight. You can probably tell I kept losing my place in spots. Still, I'm overcoming whatever this thing is over the last couple of weeks. I didn't have a stroke. I didn't have anything like that go on. I just got really fatigued, really tired. My brain, I was forgetting things. And I was starting to think, is that old age or is that my, am I stroking out? Okay, Dave, I see you in the wings, but it's all white, so I'm not getting your video yet. And so as soon as that video comes up, I'll bring you in. So, that tower is not healthy, bro, says Matt Finn. You're right. I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it. I was a little skeptical of it at first, but something with that. It's messing with my systems. So probably we're going to be moving again by summertime, which you know how much I love to move. We're not ready to build a house yet, quite yet. I don't know. Maybe we can get into buying a house by summer, which is a problem for me. I wanted to build a house, but we've got to probably move away from this spot, which sucks because the place is all right. But we have been here feeling this is all temporary. Here, Dave, I'm going to add Dave to the stream. See, I got no Dave. Dave, if you're there, you're going to have to call back in because I'm not getting your video. I know he's in his car, so it could be a link. It could be his link up to the internet. So, let's see. G4 46G smartphones, says Grumpy Stack. Might be. And nope, the towers aren't for our health, but they keep putting them up. There's a lot of studies being done on them. They keep putting them up, though, right in neighborhoods. We got one there. We got one about a quarter mile away in that direction. So, Dave, I don't know if you're there. I'm going to try you again. I got black screen. Are you there? I don't hear you and I don't see you, Dave Potter. So it could be his internet connection. Keep working on that. Try me back, Dave. Matthew's talking about his Washington story that he gave the other night. I saw the whole Washington story, Matthew. I heard it and saw what you had written. So thank you for that again, by the way. So, what else did I see? Matt Finn says it's a reality, along with many, many other things that keep us subservient. You know, I gotta go along with you there, Matt.
And I can't see the chat.
Oh, there we go. Now I see Dave. We just brought Dave in. Uncle Dave, I can hear you, but I can't see you. You're a black screen.
Says I'm in the show.
You're in the show. Can you hear me? He cannot hear me. He cannot see the chat room.
I can see
Dave.
pictures.
I hear you. He says he can hear, you can see pictures. You can't hear me, can you? Dave. Red Dog 1 to Red Dog Squadron. I don't think he can hear me. All right, I got to remove him from the stream because I'm going to actually kick him out of the studio so he calls back. Kick guest. Boom. Boot. I could hear Dave. You could hear him. He couldn't hear me. And he couldn't see the chat room. I see colorful bears, says Grumpy Stack. You got your thumb over the lens, Uncle Dave? Says Matt Finn. So, yeah, they do. They do. Matthew Sainsbury. So, for all I told my kids to be quiet, there's 2 doors open with 2 different TVs going on opposite ends of the room. There's Dave Potter again. All right, Dave, can you hear me? Dave, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Uncle Dave, I don't hear you. I don't see you. So it's a big thumbs down. Nothing. So I can never see the chat when I'm on StreamYards. That's interesting. See, I see it all the time. Oh, I see Dave now. I see movement. I saw like a cigar or a pipe going over there. Dave, Uncle Dave. Call him and put him on the speaker. Yeah, that might be the only way to do it. Now, we'll see if he can connect. I think his signal is weak, though. But he's there because it's still moving, as slow as it's moving. So, Dave, can you hear me? If you can, raise your cigar in the air.
Okay, pictures are back.
Oh, there you go. Now I got you. Can you hear me? All right. This will be an exercise in futility very soon, and we'll give it up. But, so you see an orange speck. He came loud and clear for a second, but I don't think he can hear me. So, there we go. So I don't know that we are on a particular topic right now for the captain's cabin tonight, unless we just extend what we were just talking about in the show. And yeah, Dave's calling from a cave. I think he's in his car somewhere. He's like in transit. I don't think he's driving at the moment. I think he pulled over and is talking to us, but he needs that 46G towel over his bed. That's right. Let's see. So, yeah, we're all done with the shadow people. I think I'm going to put that away. And we cleansing our space. That was last night we talked about that. That's still open. I'm going to put that away. Let's see. Dave, are you there? Calling Dave Potter. Dave Potter. Uncle Dave Potter. You're in the room. I see light moving. I cannot hear you. I cannot see your face, but we do see light moving. So, nothing. No sound from you.
I'm moving, but you're frozen.
I can hear you. I hear you. I think your phone is
Can anybody-
freezing up the chat. So, I talked about I didn't even get to the moon tonight again, Morgan Snow. We talked about it a little bit last night. I was going to finish that tonight. We didn't get there. So we'll pick that up next week again. So, Grumpy Stack saw 2 shadow people in one dream, and one in a dream and one in the backyard. Now, how do you distinguish that they were shadow people? Did you flip on yard lights or something and it was gone, or did you see that it was a person?
Can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me? I hear Dave popping in every now and then. I don't think we're going to connect. If this is all the better connection he's got over there, it's going to give us problems. Good night, Romeldian. Good to see you. Glad you stopped in. And
Hello.
there's Paige. I see Paige over there. And who else here? Sound up for everybody that's here. Let me know you're listening. Dave, can you hear me? I'm hearing noise from over on your side. I gotta close his window out because it'll be distracting. I don't want him to say anything or swear or have expletives if his stream isn't working. You know what I mean? So, hey, Gaza. My grandmother was haunted as a child and used to see shadow people all the time standing there just watching, and the toilet was outside. Had to go freak me out. Oh, I'll bet you had to go to what we would call up here an outhouse or an outbuilding. Your toilet was outside, and so that would freak you out. I'll bet you hear the stories of things from our grandparents. So he said, I ended up going into the bathroom. I was so scared. Down the sink a little bit harder for number 2. I ended up going into the bathroom. I was so scared down the sink. A little bit harder for number 2. I'll bet. I'll bet it was, Gaza. That's, I one time remember I was so scared. It was about a 9-year-old kid. And I stood in the middle of my bedroom in the middle of the night. The lights were on because I slept with the lights on. And I was so afraid of something that I pissed my pants. My little tighty whities as a 9-year-old boy in 1968 or 69. And that's the only time that ever happened out of fear. But I had dreamt that a vampire. It was Barnabas Collins, who was a cool character, unless he was the vampire in the show when he got really vampiric. And he was leaning over my bed and looking at me. I think that's the night that happened. I jumped out of bed, and I was so afraid to move. I couldn't move. I couldn't run up the stairs to the bathroom, and because there was no bathroom in the downstairs, and I pissed myself at age 9. So that never happened again, by the way. But fear can make your bowels loose, believe it or not. So there, guys, I didn't mean to upstage your story. Your grandma had a veranda, and you had to walk down on the side of the house. Oh, boy. In the dark, no less, I'll bet. If you had to get up in the middle of the night. Dave Potter. Let's try Dave Potter again. Dave, can you hear me? You're coming in and out. You must have heard me. But then you started to respond and you were gone. Your camera has frozen. I think getting Dave in here tonight might be a lost cause. You might have to change
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Hello, hello. Testing.
I
1, 2,
hear-
3.
I hear you.
Does anybody hear me?
I hear you. He can't see us, probably. But that's the clearest he's come in so far tonight. So keep trying, Dave. It's not working. So Gaza said, sorry, the wash house was inside the house. Oh, okay. Where you had a bath, and that's where I went. Oh, got it. So you went to the wash house instead of the bathroom. I got it. I think I got it now. I got the picture. So, yeah. There were things, I was afraid of the dark when I was a kid. I was afraid of all the things that would get me or eat me. And so I've grown out of that, of course, now. But long time ago. Poor Dave, says Paige Rockwell. Yeah, he's sitting somewhere where he can't get a good signal. Even though he's got his own hotspot. So he's probably just out of tower range somewhere. And so if we aren't going to get Dave in, I'm probably not going to stick around too long tonight. So there he is again, trying to come in again. Let's try him again. Add to stream. Uncle Dave. I think he just keeps trying the same connection, and it's just not going to work. Dave, we're not getting you. Hate to say. There, he went black now. And let's see. Morgan Snow says, yes, Matt, and in the summertime, all the creepy crawlers. Matt Finn says, Morgan, true, but more of what you'll find behind the door.
I hear you now. I hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, my
Can't
God,
see you.
finally. I don't have lights on. I'm driving.
Okay. Oh, you're actually moving.
I'm moving. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That could be part of it. You probably came in and out of signal.
No, I've got my hotspot running. I've got a strong internet connection.
Okay, good. Yeah, we see a couple of little flecks of light up in the upper left, and I see your cigar or pipe or something. Cigar. So there you go. Yeah, it seems like our connection's working now.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so Waking Ghost. I am. This is years ago when I was managing Office Max, and I was staying at another manager's house, and I didn't have furniture with me. I just brought a futon mattress, so I'm laying on the floor, if you will, early morning.
Yep.
And I'm wide awake. I woke up. My alarm had gone off maybe 20 minutes earlier, and I'm laying there, and on my side, and I'm looking at what appears to be an old-fashioned carpenter's toolbox sitting in the middle of the room that I'm sleeping in. And I'm laying on my side trying to figure out why there's a damn toolbox in my room, because it wasn't there when I went to bed. And then I'm laying there and I'm sort of on my side and I'm looking across the floor. I'm not looking up towards the ceiling at all. And all of a sudden, these legs come into view. A hand comes down, picks up the toolbox, and it starts walking towards my door. And it goes through the door.
Okay.
Not through the open door. The door is closed. Through the door. And I sit bolt upright, and I'm like, what the hell? So I get up. I'm walking across the room, and right there where the toolbox was is a double-headed 10-penny nail, like you use in theater and stuff.
Okay.
And I pick it up off the ground. It's solid. I'm holding it in my hand. I go and I open the door. There's nobody in the basement. Anywhere.
Nice.
I look all around. I go upstairs, and Ken is upstairs at the breakfast table, and I said, did somebody just come up the stairs? No, we're in the house alone. Well, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. And I said, where'd the carpenter go? What carpenter? And I said, the one that dropped this nail, and I tossed it on the table. And he's like, where the hell was that? On the floor where the toolbox was before he picked it up. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I told him, and he just went,
what are you talking about?
And I can't explain this. There were no nails on the floor when I went to bed. And why this one nail would be laying there, I saw it
fell out of the toolbox.
Yeah, I saw it plain as day. It was very corporeal. It was so bizarre, but I never saw above the knees. But I didn't turn my head. I don't know why. I didn't turn my head and look up to see who this carpenter was. It was just the toolbox and his legs, and out the door he went.
And that's what you hear about a lot of these types of encounters or appearances, is that you'll see portions of bodies, you'll see legs, or you'll see somebody walking without legs, or you hear the
Yeah.
stories of the old Roman legions in Great Britain, in England, where they see a column of Roman soldiers marching through their basement from the waist up.
Yes.
And that's because that was ground level back then.
There's
kind of thing.
a famous I think it's Gettysburg, video of a cannon at there, and there's men around the cannon. You don't see their lower
I've
half
seen
of their
that.
bodies. You only see the upper half of their bodies.
I've seen that video, I do believe. Is that the one where there's also one of the spirits that seems to be flitting from one cannon to another, or a rock to the cannon? Or
Yes.
Yep, I've seen that one. And that has been scrutinized over and over and over again. That is not a faked film. So at least not by any method that they could figure it out. I
Getting
had
a little additional light there from the people passing.
That's all right. We can see your face every now and then. And so what do you think about this idea, and everybody out there as well, this idea that ghosts can leave you items like a nail, like a coin, something like that, to get your attention? And something I've noticed around here now, it's one of two things. It's one of my kids has gotten into somebody's little box of coins or something. But and Rainey noticed this too, over a period of about 2 weeks, it seemed everywhere I went in the house, I'd find a quarter laying on the floor. I'd pick it up. I'd go in my closet where nobody is. There's a quarter on the floor. I'd find a quarter there 2 days later. I'd find a quarter over by the bed on the floor. I'd find quarters on a tabletop. And
do you have a hole in your pocket?
Nope. And I don't carry around, and I don't see, those are all the things we said too, Rainey and I, as we were talking about it. But she had noticed that too, the quarters around the house. And it's like, who has a stash? We were asking each other, which one of us has a stash of quarters that the kids are getting into? And I checked, I got a little box up here that it sits right here on the shelf. This thing. Hang on. I thought it was going to be easy to grab. And the lid came off. So I have a thing a hinge that broke on this, but this is a little box that sits on my shelf. And I take all my loose change and I throw it in there. Like right now, I got a bunch of quarters in here. But those are all the ones I picked up around the house. I didn't seem to be missing any.
Well, I can honestly say it wasn't me this time. I'm not running around your house throwing quarters around.
Look what I found in my box. Oh, wow. I put these in here for safekeeping.
That's what
Look
she said.
what's in my box. That's what she said. Look at these. Look at these. This is Rainey at 16, 17 years old, something like that. Look at these.
Oh, my God. Just as beautiful today.
Yes.
The woman doesn't age. I don't know what's up with that.
She doesn't. Look at these. You tell me this doesn't look about the same way she looks now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I remember those days.
Rainey at 16 or 17.
Yeah, I remember when she was that young.
She was, well, she wasn't out to festival till she was dating Adam, was she? 18
She was about
old.
16. Are you sure? I thought she was
18.
I thought she was 16 when she was dating Adam.
There she is. Look at these. I'm just because they're right here in this box.
Forget about the fact that I knew her before you.
Yeah, you knew her a long time ago. There she is. Yeah, see, I met her when she was, 25. So this is maybe 6 or 7 years before I met her. Some of these. I got that one. And she was into photography and stuff too. So there she is. Those were in my box, folks, with my coins, my magic coins. So that's the Rainey. You know what else I got in here? You might be interested in this, everybody. Yeah, she's hot. All right, Grumpy Stack. This here.
Always
this
has
was
been
a pack of cigarettes that I bought in England in 2005. There's no cigarettes left in them. They were little thin things, and in the tin. But right here in this little tin is wrapped in paper. I've got this. This is a leaf and moss from the major oak in Sherwood Forest.
You dog.
And I didn't take them off the tree. The leaf was on the ground beneath the tree, and I picked it up. And it's not brittle. It's I was going to incorporate that into a painting. I was going to actually glue it to the painting and work it into a painting of Sherwood, like a branch coming down in the front kind of thing. And then that's moss off the tree. So the major oak, folks, if you don't know, it's about a 12 or 1300-year-old oak tree in what is now still today Sherwood Forest, not far from Nottingham.
Nowhere near as big as it used to be.
Give you a little closer shot of that. That's been in that box. There's the actual color now that it's
passing the party bus.
So yellow, but there it is. That's sitting in that box. And there's other things in here too, but one thing I didn't do is I didn't look to see on any of those quarters if any of those were any special dates on them, but they all looked new, fairly new. So anyway, so there you go. Quarters laying around the house. Is that something that
from the quarterdeck?
From the quarterdeck. But those are things, and you start to wonder, we have no way to qualify that. But it's like, where are the quarters coming from? Either a kid got their hands into a bank and we're dropping them all over the house. But this is over a course of a couple of weeks, and we'd find them everywhere. It got to the point where I'd get up from my desk and I'd walk to the bathroom over here. Rainy's over there at her desk. There's a quarter on the floor. And I go, up, another quarter.
That's right up there with phantom smells.
Yes.
So after my uncle passed, when I was like 10 years old, so he was a doctor. He would get up every morning and brew fresh coffee, like many of us do. And after he passed away, both at my house and at my grandparents' house, every morning there would be the smell of fresh roasted coffee. Long before any of us made coffee in the morning. We ended up with a lot of his furniture at our house. And many times I would go into the living room and I would smell this fresh roasted coffee, and his recliner sat in the corner of the room, and his recliner would be lightly rocking back and forth. No one in the house, and no wind or anything like that, just the rocker lightly rocking, and that fresh smell of coffee in the air.
Nice. Yeah, and we get that, Rainy, I think I mentioned it on the show the other night, got the smell of matches. She said, sitting up in the living room, and she said, do you smell wood matches? Like somebody's lighting wood matches? And I said, no, I don't smell that. And I said, but I did the other day. Now, I'd smelled it the other day. And there's nothing burning. And it's not an electrical thing. You can tell an electrical, if you're getting a short in a wire and it's burning, there's a distinct smell to that. This was distinctly wood, and not with that plastic and electric smell. So Mattin says, spend those quarters and get them out of your life. He says, you said something else a little bit further back about that. I would not keep the quarters, he said. And I would not keep them. It's a piece of cheese and a spirit trap.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Why don't you just send me all your money? I don't think you should keep it. Send me all your money, and I will get rid of it for you.
Here, we'll give it to Dave Potter's jar. Uncle Dave's jar of quarters. So, and I don't even know which ones are which now, guys. I've just, like I say, I've just chucked them in my box here, along with all the other quarters I have in here.
When you were talking about the matches the other night, it reminded me of this. So I used to office out of one of the lodge buildings, had my studio up there, and I would work late like we do because we're artists. And I had made a pact. Clearly there were entities in the building, Okay.
Yes.
One of the
Clearly.
first nights that I was there late, I'm up on the second floor, and down the hall was a big, huge library. And I could hear the library doors opening and slamming, opening and slamming. And I
Yeah.
thought I was in the building alone, right? So
Yeah.
grabbed a sword like you do, and I walked down
like
the
you
hall
do.
because I'm like, I'm in the building alone. I'm not expecting spirits. I'm expecting someone's broken in or something.
Right. Right.
So, and my room was tucked around the corner. It was really hard to see. I mean, I literally had to duck and go under heating ducts and stuff to get back to my room.
Okay.
And so I
Nice.
come out of there, and most of the upstairs is dark. The lights are off, and I've got my sword in hand, and I'm walking down to the library door. I'm expecting to catch someone that's busted in.
Okay.
And the door's locked.
All right.
And I check all the office doors on the second floor. They're all locked. And I distinctly heard doors opening and slamming, and I was pretty sure it was the library doors.
All right.
So I get back to my room. Bam, bam, bam goes the door again.
Nice.
Turn around, went right back down the hall. It's still locked. And I said, okay, now
Okay.
I know. Now I know it's not somebody in the building.
Right.
It's
Somebody in the building.
it's an entity. Not my first time being in a haunted lodge.
Right.
And I said, okay, here's the deal. I have an office here now, and I work late. And I said, I will be working late many nights. So no slamming of the doors.
Yeah. Don't slam the doors when I'm working. Okay.
And I turned around. I got halfway down the hall, and the door slammed behind me again.
Nice. Nice.
And I said, okay, I'll make a different deal with you. Tonight, I will be gone by 11 o'clock because it's like 10:30-ish. And
Yeah.
I said, in the future, I will try and not work past 11 o'clock. You, no more slamming of the doors. So I go back to my room, pack up, and I'm like, okay, I'm done for the night. And I leave.
Did it slam on your way out?
It did not. Okay.
Okay.
So then another night I'm working, and I'm really wrapped in my work. And back then I was sewing Masonic aprons, building Masonic. Those of you who aren't Masons, we wear aprons for various different degrees and things like that. And I was building aprons and selling them. Past master aprons, lodge aprons, what have you. And we call it regalia. And so I'm building regalia, and I'm really wrapped up in my work trying to get an order done. And I hear this slam, 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 slam. And I look at the clock, and it's 12. And I went, my bad, my bad. I'm sorry. I'll stop for the night. And I packed up and I left. Okay.
Nice.
So on a regular night, I'm leaving. It's about 10 o'clock at night. I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going through I do a walk through the building and make sure all the exterior doors are locked and everything, because I don't want to be responsible for leaving the building open.
Right.
Do that, go down through the kitchen and into the warehouse area where all the lodges have storage rooms for various regalia, but it's also where the back door is. And I have my car parked by the loading dock, and I'm going to go out through the loading dock. Go from the kitchen into the warehouse, and I walked into what seemed like a freshly exhaled cigar breath. Like someone had just, and truth be told, some of the guys would sit on the loading dock and smoke a cigar in the evening. Okay. But never up in the warehouse, and never anywhere in the building did we smoke. Okay.
Right.
And nobody's in the building, and hasn't been in the building since 6:30-ish or 7. Okay.
Okay.
So, and it just as quickly as I smelled it, it faded away, just like it does. You know? So it was as if someone had been standing on the other side of that door smoking a cigar just as I opened it to come through, and they exhaled and left or something, right? But there's nobody in the warehouse. There's nobody.
He's coming. Let's get out of here.
You know? So I'm like, what was that? What was that cigar smell? You know? So
and
bizarre.
Why are you smelling that? And and you know, I asked those same questions. And by the way, I'm just looking through the quarters. I got about 15 of them here, and I don't know which were here before or after. And the first one I picked up is in 1984, which is not really old, but it's almost 40 years old, which is interesting. And you can tell when they have like the pictures on the back versus where you've got this on the back of a quarter with the American Eagle. That's usually an older quarter. The newer ones have all the little depictions of scenes and things, things from states and stuff like
All the
that.
state quarters, yeah.
The state quarters, and so the older ones tend to have just the eagle on the back. And so I found one with a 1984. I was just looking to see if there was any significance in any of the dates. This one is this one's 1970. So I don't remember having any old coins, but I don't particularly look. Rainey does. She'll probably want that one now. And I'm looking just to see if there's. I'm just looking at the American Eagle ones. The dates are all on the fronts of the American Eagle ones. 1998 is another one, and I'm just looking, folks, to see if there's any significance to any of the dates. 1985. This sounds maybe some little klepto in our house.
Yeah.
By the name of Ellery. Might have
When
gotten into Mom's collection of coins.
When did your girlfriend pass away?
The Tammy Barnhart?
Yeah.
That girlfriend? Let's see. We're thinking it was about 92 or 93. Okay. I didn't get any certain verification on that. So 92 or 93, somewhere in there. I dated her in high school. I was 2 years older, well, 2 grades ahead of her. But I was only a year older than she was.
Yeah, I was
just off to college in 78, and she passed away, I think, it was 91, 92, or 93, because I think it was like 12 or 13 years was the gap between when she had passed and when she had made herself known to me.
Well, I was just thinking if those years coincided with either her death
not
from
what I'm seeing here. Not from what I'm seeing.
I think it's Ellery.
I think it might be Ellery getting
young enough to be. She's young enough, especially then. She was young enough to be enticed by shiny things, but not old enough to really spend money. Well, but not old enough to really spend money.
Yeah. Well, she's 7. She knows the value of money to a certain extent. And I've got money. Can we go to Walmart? How much do you have? 75 cents. Well, you're not going to get far with that. But, we wondered about that too. Is she, picking stuff up? So, but some of these, Rainey collects older coins and older funny. It's 1970 being old. Well, that is 50. That's 52 years ago. So,
back in the days of my larceny.
Yeah.
When I was about Rowan's age, myself and the 2 boys across the street, one a year older and one a year younger, discovered a metal lockbox, and it was full of half dollars. And we thought, oh my God, we have found treasure. And we took half dollars and we rode our bikes like 2 miles away to this mall and spent 50-cent pieces, bought candy and all kinds of junk that 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds buy. And only to find out it was his big sister's bank. She'd been saving these 50-cent pieces since she was a little kid. They didn't know it. She had this lockbox and she kept it hidden in the basement. She would secret away all the 50-cent pieces she found. And we spent her entire life savings on candy and junk. Oh, and one of those rotisserie chickens, and ate like kings.
Nice. We got a rotisserie chicken and a stockpile of candy.
Oh my God. And Did we get in trouble? Oh, we got in huge trouble.
Wow.
We got in huge trouble.
I'll
And,
bet.
and I can't remember what the total haul was. It was $20-some
Nice.
in 50-cent pieces.
Oh.
And to a 10-year-old, that's like finding Spanish doubloons, baby.
Yeah. Anymore. So. Okay. So, yeah, 1970s, the oldest one I got here. That's probably got some real silver in it, I would think. According to
64.
Sean Stroik. 64 was the last year we put real silver in them?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
That's the way it is for dimes. I'm pretty sure it is for all of the coinage.
All right.
Anything
All
past
right.
64 is a sandwich coin.
So, hey, drive-by drop-in, says Professor Bauer. Professor Bauer.
I'm literally driving by.
The Professor and Mary Ann, who was the hotter of the chicks on the island. So
The professor was the hotter of the chicks.
no, Mary Ann.
Oh, totally. Yeah, girl next door over a movie star any day.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Tina Louise was no slouch, to be sure. To be sure, but
She was a painted Jezebel.
That's it.
Who goes on a 3-hour tour in an evening dress?
That's it. She had a white evening gown on.
And
high
who
heels.
takes all that luggage? The howls. I was like, how much? It's
That's
a
it.
3-hour tour. How many times are you going to change your clothes on that
3-hour
boat?
tour. What do you got? What do you got your Warhol wardrobe with you?
You're in Hawaii. Don't you have a hotel? You must own a hotel in Hawaii. It's like,
Matthew Sainsbury says Dad liked Gilligan's Island. He's just firmly placed his age. So, yeah, I grew up watching Gilligan's Island.
loved that show when I was a kid. Bob Denver.
Me
What a
too.
great physical comic.
Yes.
He never got the recognition I felt he should have gotten. And
No.
Dobie Gillis was awesome.
Dobie Gillis was an awesome show. That's Bob Denver was in that show, guys. So
Yep.
Dobie Gillis, if you
He
remember.
played
that.
a beatnik.
Yep. Beatnik. In the that show was that show out in the early 60s?
Yeah.
It was before
Well,
Gilligan's
late
Island,
50s,
so.
early 60s, and he was Dobie Gillis's best mate.
Yep. So, yeah, that was a good show. I also liked Alan Hale. It was a long time before I realized, from when I was a kid, that Alan Hale Jr., who played the skipper, was the son of Alan Hale.
They damn near could have been twins.
Yeah, they could have been twins. Alan Hale, folks, if you don't know, his dad was Little John in the Errol Flynn Robin Hood. And
He
played
often
in a lot
played
of movies with Errol Flynn.
Often played his sidekick, but he also played with Ronald Reagan and a whole bunch of people.
He did.
He did a lot of
Cavalry
films.
movies, and yep.
He's in a great film during World War II. He was in a film where he was part of a crew on a freighter, and they had been torpedoed once, and they were trying to get back to port and stuff. It's a great film. Can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but
by the way, I just got to let Professor Bauer know, and anybody who's in here late like this, we're off the official show. We usually do this little segment called the Captain's Cabin after 10 p.m. Central, after the show goes off the air.
And on Friday nights, we do the Captain's Corner.
The Captain's Quarter Room. Yeah. Dave and I will sit up for a couple hours sometimes going. And so I'm not going to last too long tonight. I'm pretty wiped out.
4 a.m. 4 a.m.
4 a.m. One of these days. Yeah, like I told everybody, this little bout I've had, whatever it is, the last 2-3 weeks, it knocked the wind out of me. I have been so tired. It's not my heart. I don't have cancer. I didn't have a
even
stroke.
say such things. Don't even say
yeah,
such
really. I mean, it's all these things I don't have that they've ruled out. But I've been and I actually thought I may had I said to Rainey the other day, I said, I start to wonder if I had a stroke or something, like a mini stroke, if there is such a thing.
There is.
Because I was forgetting everything. I was tired.
But you said they
sleeping.
ran tests on you, right? Because they can tell if you've had a stroke.
Yep, they ran tests. They did blood tests. They did X-rays. They ran tests, and she said all I find. She says after the lab work, there was this and this was off kilter. My vitamin D, she said, was so low it looks like it's been low for a year. And so they put me on prescription level vitamin D. So 50,000 milligrams. I think that's what it is. 50,000 units in a little black pill, gel pill. I pop one of those once a week. So I will, Matthew. I'll be careful and watch it. So I don't know what it is. I haven't had any problems with my heart that were typical of the symptoms.
How's your
Nothing
vitamin
there.
D?
What's that?
How's your vitamin D?
It was very low.
I was going to say, because a lot of us that live up north here, our vitamin D falls through the floor during the wintertime. And that's a huge thing for your immune system and also for just general
and she said I was really low on that my iron was low, that my and she told me when she gave me the vitamin D, the big prescription, she said also get some sun, get as much sun as you can get.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard right now this time of year. We're in that transitional stage, but it's going to be 70
I take a vitamin
degrees
D
here
every
tomorrow.
day.
It's supposed to be 70 tomorrow. Matt Finn takes it year round. Rainey made me take some until I got my prescription picked up. So, but yeah, I've been I don't even know. I don't remember the context of why I brought that up. But even tonight before the show, I was just like, for the hour before the show, I was like, I got to go lay down. Because I just had nothing left. And I fell asleep on the sofa at late breakfast with sitting there with Ellie, who wasn't feeling too well today. She was home. And she and I were sitting on the sofa, and I had a piece of toast, and I fell asleep again for an hour and a half. And so I've been having all this sleep stuff, and my memory has been affected by it. And that's why I went in. I thought, is there something going on? Now, if any of you out there in the chat room, if you...
Predigen, or what do they call it? It's
I have no idea.
I think it's called Predigen or something like that. It's a memory pill. Helps you rebuild your synapses.
Something.
Synapse, or whatever they call it.
I would just like to have my 26-year-old body back.
I've been 25 for the last 34 years or something like that, and I swear by it. I was a good year for me.
You know? And
I was really good at being 25, and I just see no reason not to be 25.
You know what's funny is that, now you know me, I've always had the energy and felt a hell of a lot younger than I am. I mean, when I met Rainey, she didn't know I was 44 when I met her. She was 25. There wasn't a difference. We didn't look a lot different. We had a lot of energy. I don't know if it's since the heart attack 5 years ago or what, but it's like, is my age catching up to me, or what is it? Because I'm only 61, but I feel like I should have a lot more energy than I have. I feel like I should be, and sometimes doing the radio show, it's bravado. You have to put it on. It's artifice. You know, I feel like I'm going to fall over in my soup, but then I start up radio and I go, hey, good evening, folks, and blah, 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 blah. And you go a mile a minute. And so I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong. They can't find anything wrong other than vitamin deficiency and iron deficiency right now. I said, so why am I forgetting shit? I mean, my brain was, I'd be sitting on radio trying to figure stuff out and saying, and I'd say, even on radio, you know, that book with that author, this guy, I've mentioned him 100 times, and now I can't think of his name.
That thing and the other thing. Oh, you know the stuff.
The thing. I'm not that bad, thank God. And that scares me a little bit. If I'm doing this at 60 right now, hopefully it's just some kind of
You don't think you could be president at 80?
Not at the rate I'm going. That's the worst thing. I would hate to lose my mind.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I don't even say it. I don't want to speak it into existence. Matt Finn says sometimes too much D can have an adverse effects on calcium in your bones.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but if it's really low, you got to pump it up.
Take vitamin K with it, he said. Well, it's yeah, she said I was at, I don't know if this was the level I was at was supposed to be at like over 500 is normal. And I think this is the vitamin she was talking about, the level in my blood. Over 500. She said you're at 71 or 72. And she said that's really low. And now that maybe that was the iron thing. Maybe it's, I don't know what it was. But
iron's another thing that will drastically affect your energy and really sap you.
Yeah. And so my eyes have felt, I think I mentioned this the other night when I first talked about this. My eyes have been heavy. They're just always just feel like my eyes could shut. And that's been the last like 2 or 3 weeks. And being productive has been just out the window. I'll sit here sometimes and I'll go, fuck, I can't do anything. And, you know, that's, and it's weird. And my body, wobbly all the time. Wobbly, a little lightheaded all the time. And so that's why I went in on Tuesday, yes, when I went in the morning. Said, what's going on? This ain't right. It's not normal. It ain't normal. And so what was I going to talk about? Oh, Rowan and I were driving somewhere last week. I may have brought this up. I talked about this to someone, but if I did, indulge me, folks. We were driving and
he's old and he repeats himself. We just let it happen.
He's old. It's Grandpa. We've heard this story before. So we were talking about what we'd get if we had 3 wishes. If we actually found a genie in a bottle or a lamp. My lamp. Did you rub my lamp? And so
you were driving with Rowan.
Yes, driving with Rowan. And so I asked her, you know, what would you wish for if you could find a genie in a lamp? Now, put yourself in a 10-year-old's context. Oh, I'd wish for...
I'm not sure that's legal, but...
it'd be like a fidget spinner, whatever they call them, the little punch hole things. Well, I'd wish for one of those. And a new coloring book or something to that effect. And you're like, really? You'd waste a genie wish on a coloring book? Yeah. What would you wish for? I said, my 26-year-old body. I said, my first wish would be for Rainey and me to both be in perfect physical health and perfect physical shape. Boom. 1 wish. She said, that's 2 wishes. I said, no, I make it 1 wish. My 1 wish is I want bodies and health in perfect shape. And when I was telling Rainey that, she said, I'd wish for my 26-year-old body back. I said, yeah, me too. That's the year we met. No, we met when she was 25. Not that there's any problems with her body
have
now.
To be thought out really carefully.
You do. The wording.
Back in the day when we used to play D&D all the time.
Yes.
We were in college, and we had a great amount of time to play D&D. I don't know. We had all these study halls. And
Jadir McKenzie, by the way, says, eat dandelions.
Oh, they're great.
There you go.
So are rose
Feed them to me.
But anyways, we're playing D&D, and one of the guys was struck by something. I can't remember what it was. Anyways, he's dying, and he goes, "Oh, I have a wish ring. I have a wish ring." And the DM says, "That's right. You do have a wish ring. What is your wish?" "I wish to be just as I was before I died." He goes, boom, and in 2 seconds later, you get hit again.
Yep. You brought me back 2 seconds. You gotta think of how you word these things. Yeah. That's the thing about genies. They always go for the trick questions, don't they?
They do. You have to
You
watch
want to
out.
look him
for
in
the
the
gin.
eye. If you got a gin and he's going to give you 3 wishes, look him in the eye and say, "No tomfoolery here. Can I just wish? Can I just wish for what I want and get it without, can I wish for $17 billion in cash and not have it, be all in pennies or something? Just
Do you
put
know
it in
how
my
much
bank
17
account.
billion in cash would bury you and you would suffocate? You have to
I'd
be
suffocate. Be like, could I just have that in my bank account so I can access it with my PayPal card? I also said my third wish, it might sound a bit whimsical and it might be a little outlandish. I would wish for a fully functional starship like the Enterprise D or something like that. And
That's a good version because it's mostly computer automated, and you
yep,
can
and
tell
it's
it
sleep
what you want.
because watch, I'd get that wish and I'd be sitting in the captain's chair and not have anybody who could man the stations.
And then you'd be stranded out in deep space.
Stranded in space. At least the replicators would work, and it would have a holodeck. Roots make tea, says Morgan Snow. Yes, they do. Vitamin K and more. Is that Jadir? Am I saying that right? Jahir, is that what is in dandelions? Vitamin K?
Ginger. You should eat ginger, raw ginger. That'll
Jahir. Jer or Jahir? Don't know how to pronounce it. Mackenzie?
Ginger.
He's a Mackenzie. He or she. Could be a she. I don't know.
Oh, could be a she.
So,
I knew a girl named Mackenzie.
well, Jhere is the first name listed here. But then again, it could be Mackenzie Jahir. So, are you getting somewhere? You're making lots of turns now. Are you like?
I am. I'm back in Rochester, so
You're
I'm
in Rochester. All right.
getting off the interstate and heading to the homestead.
Yes. And for anybody here who comes in late, just remember, this is really informal. This isn't structured. A little more structured show during showtime, 9 to 10 Central. Captain's cabin, lot less formal.
And
a little more
even less formal on a Friday night.
Even less formal on a Friday night. Jay here. Oh, it's Jay here. Jay McKenzie. Initial J, Mackenzie. J here. She. And she's a she.
And she's a she.
All right. I wondered because of the Raven. I think of the Morgaine, the Morrigan. That's what I'm thinking of. The Mackenzie.
A Scottish lass.
Aye, she's a Mackenzie.
Makes my Gordon heart pound.
And my Robertson. Hi, laddie. No, we're more Welsh than we are Scott. Let's see.
I was out in Wisconsin yesterday running around taking care of some stuff, and I saw this lass wearing black watch tartan and beautiful red hair, and I just stopped me in my place. I just like
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Matt Finn says post shows we loosen the tie and unbutton the top button. Yes, we do indeed. And pour a glass, says Sean Stroik.
Oh, I'd love to have a glass of scotch right now, but it's really hard while I'm driving.
It's hard. Yeah, it's tough. Well, no, you put it in those 7-Up bottles and
settle for a cigar and a coffee instead.
There it is, cigar and a coffee.
It's nothing like drinking coffee at 11 o'clock at night to keep me up until 2.
That's right. It'll keep you awake. Rainey says you're not supposed to drink caffeine 6 hours before you go to sleep.
Well, I won't be in bed before 4. So
that's Rainey's rule. So, and she said that's why you don't sleep, because you drink caffeine.
It is why I don't sleep. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't drink a lot of caffeine at night. I'm going to light some of this Palo Solo because it's cleansing.
That's my thing on your show, though. I pour myself a cup of coffee and kick back and drink the coffee
Yeah.
and do the show, and then I'm wide awake until 3 or 4 in the morning. And the bad boy that I am, though, I have not been using that time to write, and I should between the end of your show and 4 in the morning be writing. But
Well, I've been writing a biography for somebody. So, what are you guys doing?
She's trying to eat me.
Who is Lucy?
I cooter punched Mom.
Hey guys,
hello, girls.
we'd still have a live audience here.
Hi. What's that?
It's Uncle Dave.
There's Ellery. That's Uncle Dave.
Hi.
Hello, Rowan. Hello, Ellery. Love you both.
Why are you driving? You're not supposed to be on your phone.
I'm not on my phone. I'm on the radio.
He's on the radio. It's sitting on his dash.
Do
He's
you
not
really
holding it.
love me, Uncle Dave? If you loved me, you'd bring me to
Chinese.
Disneyland.
I'm not going to take you to Disneyland. I might take you out
Nope.
for Chinese.
Yes.
He might come with us to the Star Trek sets
What's that?
in September. You know.
No, I don't.
Oh, I was talking to Flynn about it then.
I got you.
There's the Rainy.
Here's Lucy. We get to introduce Lucy, Dad.
They've already met Lucy.
No, they haven't.
So here, Dave, I'm going to make you small while I'm big. There.
That doesn't look like she's having fun.
No, I don't think she looks like she's having fun at all.
Her paws just pulled down my pants.
So wired children at 11 o'clock
I'm
on a
putting it
Friday
down.
night.
Have we been eating lots of candy tonight?
No.
You kind of act like you're on a sugar high.
This doesn't need candy.
Hey, Ellie Belly.
Hi.
Hi.
How you feeling?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, you know what? Don't kick your sister in the face again.
Yeah. Don't kick Ro in the face again.
No.
Oh,
Hello, Rainy.
No, my head hurts. I know.
Rainy loves this stuff, but we can never use it.
You got
Come
a
on over
child- you got a
and say
child
hi.
that's got a chest cold and the smoke hurts her chest.
There she is.
So you got the smoke blowing there.
Hey, Mama.
Can't see me waving because I'm small. Hello, Rainy.
Hey. What? No, you can have water. It's
So
bedtime.
lots of activity around here for 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh, yeah?
I know, we were upstairs talking about dementia.
Dementia? What about dementia?
It's what Daddy has.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Annabelle and Ruby, their grandma had dementia.
Your grandma had dementia.
Jamie's mom had dementia.
Mom's grandpa had dementia.
Jamie's grandma.
My grandma didn't have dementia.
Your grandpa.
My grandpa.
I know.
I had a grandmother that went through that.
One night,
Yeah.
Dad,
My grandfather had it. So,
She would sit in a room and talk about her brothers outside the window. And I'm like, well, Grandma, you're on the 3rd floor. So,
Matt Finn said, I knew she'd yell at you about the smoke. Everybody's getting to know you, Rainy. Lucy. Uh-oh.
What's really sad is after however freaking many years we've been together, Scotty still doesn't get me.
I don't know why you think that. I do get you.
Olson.
What makes you think I don't get you?
like Grandpa had dementia, and one night we were over at Grandma and Grandpa's, and Grandpa kept touching me and tickling me because Mom said she thinks he thought I was her, and because he always tickled Mom all the time.
Well,
Oh,
you know, you act like your mom and your sister acts like Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Rainy and Kate as little kids.
No, she was brushing her teeth, Michelle. So, no, I get my wife. I get my wife as much as anybody else does. I get her even more. So,
Sure you do.
but Yeah, what do you know about that anyway? What do you know about adult relationships?
I do know you should go to Sugar Mama so she can bring me to Disney World.
How's the boyfriend, Bentley?
I know, he just left.
Oh, I thought he was spending the night here tonight.
Not anymore.
Not with her, mind you. She's too young for that.
Oh, really? You let us 2 times already?
No, we let him stay in the house.
Yeah.
And everything was supervised.
We
A little
also-
too young for
We slept on the same mattress
almost
2
didn't
times
let him.
ago.
So yeah, don't be a show off now like you. Oh, my poor insane parents. I know everything.
You are insane. I
You
don't have
just
insane
chill back
parents.
there.
I just have an insane father.
No, Matt Finn, you're right. A man can't win. There's nothing we do right.
Nope.
So women do from time to time, says Michelle. They do what?
They eat you.
Oh, Sean said she's foaming at the mouth. Michelle said women do that from time to time. If that's the context and the antecedent of your comment. Yeah, what is it? You know, love starts with ooh, ooh, and you're all about each other, and then expectations kick in, and then expectations don't get met, and then everybody's got their own way of doing things, and all of a sudden it's like men who are 50 years old are no longer autonomous agents. Do you know what that means? We're the extra kid in the house, and
I have 2 toddlers upstairs in their 90s that I take care of. So
there you go, 2 toddlers in their 90s, and of course, men, we look at our wives and we're like, sex and other things. And so I'm telling you, you're the one hoarding in, young child, on the radio show. This is the stuff we talk about.
Playing on my phone.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night.
when we're 25, it's 4 or 5 times a day, and suddenly it's like, oh my God, we did that
I know.
last week, didn't we?
I know.
Oh, it's been a month. Oh,
Or a
all
month.
right.
So, yeah.
We
And it's like, but then husbands can't do anything right
We
anymore.
think mom.
We don't know how to do
found-
anything. We don't know how to drive. We don't know how to cook. See? She said I was right about that.
You never followed the.
Well, I cook and drive, not at the same time, but
Yeah, not at the same time. So,
You never followed the directions.
so let's see. What does that say? I got to put my glasses on.
Rainey has what?
Oh, Rainey has always probably been a firecracker, says Matt Finn. You can't say you were unaware of that earlier. No, that was the attraction.
Olson.
Olson. That's when Dave says Olson, that's hailing back to the first days of Rainey and I. She's an Olson, and she and her sister, a lot alike in that respect. And so Dave's always like, when I say something about Rainey, he goes, Olson. So yeah, you're right, Matt Finn. I always did know she was that way. That's what attracted me to her.
When Kate was a young woman, she wouldn't think twice about flashing her chest to just anybody in the room.
Oh, she always did.
At one point, I was like, Kate, there's no one in the English-speaking world that hasn't seen your tits. That's all.
That's right. That's right. That's Rainey's younger sister. And there was one time when she was living with us that she, on her 18th birthday, she came up the stairs into the kitchen in the morning. Rainey and I were having coffee. And she flashes me. She goes, I'm 18. She says, time to ditch the old bitch and come with the 18-year-old. And it was a joke, of course, but it came along with bared breasts. So what do you got there?
A dinosaur egg.
Oh, did you lay that?
No.
Oh,
Mama found it.
oh, Mama found it. Let's see. It is perfectly
I think it's a
round.
coconut. I think it's a coconut.
warm. Oh, okay. Oh, don't do that. You don't want to drop that on your foot. You don't want to drop that on any equipment laying around here. Don't do that, I said. Oh, you mean this? Here, let me do that. You mean this? It's the way it goes around here. Matthew says it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it is. Well, what's the old scale that they have? You've seen the video. All the guys here and women probably have too. The scale, the
batshit crazy
hotness,
and totally beautiful.
hotness to crazy scale. And he was doing the working out the scale, and he says, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hottest, 1 being not hot, and on the scale of craziness, and he was making these. He says what the target, his conclusion is, the target was you want to get between like a 6 and a 7. And because that 6 and the 7, then you're not going to be in the unicorn range. You're going to be in the, you know, this is wife material. And it was funny. It was all tongue in cheek. You got to look that up. But
it's look it up online.
The hotter
it's
they are,
on YouTube. It's very, very funny.
Yes, very funny.
And surprisingly accurate.
Surprisingly accurate. Yes. So sorry, ladies out there in the audience. It's surprisingly accurate. So
Susan was like an 8 on the beauty scale, but she was way over on the 9 on the crazy scale.
Yep. Well, it was, what was it that's the factor though that merged them? Because it was the hotter she was, the crazier she was. But what was the scale? What was the determinant in there? It was very, and it actually worked. So, Matt Vincent, yep, I didn't say crazy. You said crazy. I'm gonna make that clear before I get in trouble. No, Matt told me to say you were crazy. Dave, it was Dave's fault.
I had nothing to do with it, Rainey. I don't know what you're talking about, Scott.
Right, it's all Scotty's fault.
That's it. Yeah.
Look at him on a rock.
Look at Rainey's rock. God.
Oh my rock. Look at it. Isn't that pretty?
That's amazing.
Oh my
Ow! What the child? What did I say about? Here, I will take the rock.
Did she drop it on Rainey's foot?
Right on Rainey's
right on the
bare
fucking
foot.
knuckle. Oh my god.
The knuckle of her foot.
Jesus.
Ouch.
Whoa, oh.
Baby.
Oh my goodness. So I was just holding it.
Until I wasn't.
I brought these rocks in the house.
Yeah. He's got rocks all over the house. So saw that rock on Facebook. It's fascinating.
This is a new rock. I found another rock that is encrusted in a layer of whatever the hell that is. Look at that.
Lucy, come here.
Rock?
That's a rock.
Encrusted in rock?
Yeah, but it's got like an eggshell, but it's not an egg.
Oh, very interesting.
It's rock.
It's like 2 layers of rock.
I haven't tested this one to see if it's magnetic, but the other one was not magnetic. And the other
Not magnetic.
one,
This
which
one?
is really cool, is where the
There's
shell
the other one.
has come away.
Two words for you, Rainey.
Huh.
Petrified poop.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hoping for it.
Paperweight.
Yes.
So, oh, by the way, these quarters that we've been finding around the house, we were kind of talking about that.
Yeah.
One of them's from 1970.
Look at that.
Nice. Whoa, she got a big abrasion on her foot already.
It's already black.
Wow.
So what about the quarters?
One of them's in 1970.
These quarters started appearing after my grandma passed away.
Yes, that was what it was.
Interesting.
We were talking about that. So, all right. It's 11:11, says Michelle Cannon Free. Oh yeah. That's what she. Oh, you can't see because of the. Here.
I can't hold my leg up that high.
Here, you can put it on my shoulder like you usually do. Okay, there you go. Can we see it?
Can't see
You
it.
can't see it because it's turned this way. So, oh, we lost Dave.
Let's go this way. Dave's like, hell
I think he's
no.
in the parking garage.
Here.
Oh, all right. There you go. There. That's what just happened.
Look at that dark mark. Gross.
It just happened.
fault.
I can't
So,
bend my toes. Oh,
oh no. Here, let me get you over my mic.
oh my god.
Ah, there you go. All right.
Don't touch it. Watch
I
your
wasn't
fingers.
touching it.
Watch your fingers.
Watch your fingers. So,
What? Yeah, I don't have to do it right now. You don't go to school till Monday.
that's right. That's
All
right.
I'm taking these turd monkeys to bed.
All right.
It's 11:13 here.
All right.
We got to get up early tomorrow for a tournament.
Tournament's at noon in Hammond.
Yep.
So, volleyball
My
tournament.
foot is on freaking fire.
I'm sorry. My foot is
see
on
that?
fire.
That's what dropped in my foot. Let's see how much it weighs.
So,
I'm just-
she's going to see
I'm
if she
serious
can
about
weigh it over there. Oh, it doesn't turn anymore.
1
What I
pound
bump up against
and
here?
4.2 ounces. She dropped 1 pound, 4.2 ounces. Give me the
On your
freaking
foot.
rock. I do not
On
trust
your
you with
bare
this.
foot.
Here.
All right. Ah. Sorry for the movement, folks. There we go. Let's see.
No, my butt's not getting it. Oh my god, I gotta take my kids to bed.
Good night, kids.
Can I?
Hey, mom's not under the same rules as you are. Mom can stall. You guys can go into bed.
They see stuff in the middle of the night like I do too. So I understand.
Yeah. Can't you see we're working here? Said Matt Finn.
Yeah, right.
All right.
I think you should give me ice cubes for my foot. Ice pack. There's still lights on. The monsters won't get you yet. Good night. Oh, look at I like my hair. Look at
Good
that
night.
hair.
Let's see.
Looks like I got a bow on my head.
It's so amazing. All right. Hey, excuse me?
They keep hitting me.
You don't swear.
They let us say that at school.
I don't care if they let you say. Who lets you say that at school?
Miss Bell said it's fine.
No.
Go there when they
Not in the house. Not while you're under my roof. So, that's enough of that.
It's the ceiling.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Maybe if you were in bed already, that wouldn't have happened. There's a cause and effect. Dave Potter, I lost my link. I figured you did, brother. So, anyway, there you go, folks. The captain's cabin has degraded into nonsensical non-radio. We're just broadcasting stuff now. So, for those of you left, there's still 11 of you over there. I hope you're enjoying this. We have degraded from a rather organized, well thought through conversation on shadow people and things like that, and the spirit of your house into the degradation, the devolution of the captain's cabin. I don't have any big words. I didn't use any big words. Devolution. That's unevolution. Backwards evolution. De-evolution. That's not a big word. See, I fell asleep somewhere during the show, says Field Guy. I have no doubt.
Boring, yeah.
Let's see. Michelle Cannon Free thinks you're a rock star. I think that's who she was referring to. Damn kids and their boundary testing. Matt Finn, you're nailing that on the head, especially the 10-year-old. What do you got? You were looking at me like I was supposed to be watching you.
No, I was trying to listen to what you were saying.
Oh, he just said boundary. Damn kids and their boundary testing. And that's true. Can't you see? We're working here. LOL, there was a few highlights and some laughs. I'd call it entertaining. Thanks, Medfin. At least it was entertaining. That's what it's supposed to be. Rainey is a rock star. She pisses me off some days. There's some days it's like she could be the reason a man is driven back to the sea. But for the most part,
I think you need to be honest with them that you piss me off every day.
oh, that goes without saying. That's not even nothing to be even honest about. I piss Rainey off every day. All the time. See, I will, like I said, before I met her, I was a whole man. Now I'm a kept man. I'm a man who has been sunken down to the level of a child. I can't think for myself anymore. So, because I don't know how to, she said. Man and women English, male and female English, I call it. That's one of our biggest problems between Rainey and I, is male and female English.
Oh my God, is it a fucking struggle? Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. Story. Got a story. Trying to do
Come and
stuff.
sit on my lap and
No,
tell
I'm
your
not going to sit
story.
down because I don't want to take any weight off my foot.
Oh, your foot.
So anyways, Scotty tells me I have an interview today with Wendy. I have an interview. I figure Scotty's getting interviewed. And I go, oh, that's great. Yay, you have an interview today. And then I was like, why does she have to interview you at 8 a.m? He's like, no, I'm interviewing her. But if somebody tells me I have an interview, I think they're going to an interview versus I'm going to interview somebody today.
See, now as a guy, I said, she's sitting at her desk, I'm sitting at mine.
I said,
I
have an interview.
I know, I didn't.
You
I
said
didn't
I have an
fill
interview.
your words full of
He
my
said
words.
I have
did I?
an interview.
I said, I've got an interview to do this morning with Wendy. I got an interview to do this morning with Wendy. Okay. And she thought I meant I was being interviewed by Wendy.
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, I'm interviewing her. I said, we're talking about her psychic stuff and
But
all
when
of
you
that.
say I have an interview, I go, okay.
I have an interview. To
You're
me,
getting interviewed. If
to
you
me,
say,
an interview could be one I'm giving, could be one I'm getting. I have an interview. It's like I have an appointment this morning. The appointment could be I'm the client. The appointment could be he's a client. So that's all. That's the way I saw it.
Scotty's dumb.
Yeah. See, from her perspective, I'm dumb.
I gotta finish loading the. Oh,
Well, come here.
I'm loading the fridge. Hold on.
Oh, okay. You're loading the fridge.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Get me off task.
I'm getting her off task. Male and female English, guys. So let's see, Rainey, maybe you could count to 10, at least here at that.
Tell me what to do.
Don't tell her what to do, Matt. Don't tell her what to do. Danger, Will Robinson.
What the hell you got to say?
Danger, Matt Finn. Danger.
Oh my goodness.
Where are you at? There, trying to tip that up so we can see your glorious bun.
My bad hair.
It's not bad hair. I like your buns. See what I did there?
Funny. Oh my God.
She does the best horse face laugh thing that she does with the teeth. She has great big teeth. So
No, I have small teeth.
no, you
I
don't.
got big gums.
Yeah, big gums.
Oh my God. I have to go
What's she yelling
get the
about
kids
over there?
before we end up having to do another emergency room run at frickin'
Oh
bedtime.
boy. All right.
Good night for reals. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in a little bit. So there you go. Yeah, limp to your room, Gimpy. That's what you get for having a little kid drop a rock on your foot.
4 of 1 pound, 4 ounce, 2.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, folks, I hope there's something to glean out of all this for you, for your efficacy, for your enjoyment.
You know what's to glean for those who
don't have kids.
Yeah, yeah. Like Michelle Canham Free put up that little meme today where it shows the man and the woman. He's got his arm around her, and she says, "Would you like to have children one day?" And the man says, "Well, okay, if only for a day," or whatever it was. And that'll be the end of it. So, night, Rainy. Everybody's saying.
Good night. I'm still not going to bed.
You're still not going to bed.
I got stuff to do.
Cool. Kids are back there yelling about stuff for mom, and
Now I'm going to bed.
now you're going to bed.
My pants raking across my toe really hurt.
Ouch! I'm so sorry. Take them off.
I'm gonna. Sorry, that was for Rowan. Can you see?
I can see.
Can you?
Hey there. Not on radio. We
You
can't.
can't see nothing.
Let's see. Step over there. I'll tell you what I can see. Oh, hi.
Jesus Christ. Going to bed.
You can say all kinds of nasty things about malehood and all of that. I can talk about seeing your bare butt and your vagina. There, I said it. Oh. What are those?
Those are my arms.
Oh, nice arms you have, Ray.
Took them out of my sweater.
I love the way they pop out of your shirt like that.
Oh, aren't they
Cool.
cool?
There you go. She's back in her side of the studio, getting ready for bed. So, changing over there.
Now I gotta let the dog out.
Now you gotta let the dog out.
Now I'm gonna walk over here.
Wow. Hold up a mirror. Mirror, says Field Guy. I don't have one. We had the reflection in the window last night, but she was over there. So now she's over there. How's your toe?
It hurts. It's got a big bubble on it. It's like blood
Nice. Blood blister on her toe.
blistered. And it's right. She dropped it right on that knuckle
Right on the knuckle of her toe.
where the toe connects to your like foot.
Yeah.
It's the third metatarsal.
The third metatarsal of my toe. I don't know. Dave Potter. Olson. I love my wife. I love her openness and her, she's not, the fun thing about Rainey is she's not tawdry. She's fun and open. She's got an openness that if Rainey wants to flash her boob at you, she'll flash her boob at you and then she'll laugh about it. But she's not cheap and tawdry.
I want to spray booby juice at you from across the room.
Yeah. If she wants to spray me with boob milk from across the room, of course, she doesn't produce that anymore, but she did that on my 50th birthday, so that's 11 years ago.
But if I still did, I would gladly take cash.
But if she still did, she would take cash to do that. Yeah, we were sitting at a big party for my birthday, and it was at one of the local Irish pubs. Dave Potter knows of Merlin's Rest down on Lake Street. And we had about 100 people there showed up for that. And I'm sitting talking to people. I may have told this story before if you've heard it, but I was sitting at a bunch of round tables set up on the one side of the bar. And all our people are in there and everybody's talking to each other. And I'm talking to somebody at this table and I'm standing there and I go, I'm feeling water or something. I'm like, what the heck? And I thought something was drip. She's over there laughing already. She's laughing. She can't hold it. She's trying to hold it back and she's laughing silently. And so I'm standing there and I get it again. And I'm like, what? And I hear people laughing and I look at the table over there, a good 8 feet away. Rainey's sitting with a couple of our friends. She's got a boob out and she's been breastfeeding at this time.
Was like 3 months old.
Flynn was like, well, let's see if this was
August 20th, October, November.
Okay.
So 3 months old.
So Flynn was probably 3 months old.
And I wasn't pumping,
And
and I didn't bring a pump with.
She didn't bring a pump. And so
So
she's sitting, the friends bet her she couldn't hit me in the head from over there with breast milk. So what does Rainey do? Wonk. And she earned that $5. So there you go. That's it. Matt Finn said something about a scale again. Exactly. And the funny thing is, crazy as that is, that breast just outstanding to look at. So she's a 10. What can I say?
And I'm sure everybody standing around my table was very glad to see not only me hit my husband.
Yeah, and everybody around the table was just happy to see the boob, as well as happy to see her hit me in the head with breast milk from 8 to 10 feet away, something like that. Sean Stroik says, I remember this. How could I forget? LOL. Olson, says Dave Potter. Dave Potter was there when that happened, so. Okay, boob milk cures all. It does. It really is an impressive.
I think it was Nate who paid me $5.
Nate Favilla?
Yeah, he's standing there.
Favilla? Yeah, friend of ours. Guy she used to date, I think. And did you ever date Nate? And he paid her, he said, I'll pay you $5. You can hit him from here. So she did it. She made the $5. Did you get $5 all around the table or just from Nate?
I think just from Nate. But I don't think there was a lot of people around the table. I thought there was only 2.
I thought it was, what's his name? Crow and, I can't remember her name.
There was maybe it was DJ. Was it Crow and DJ?
No, DJ wasn't there.
No.
Oh, her name was it JD? JD. Crow and JD. And who don't talk to me anymore. They're not listening, so I'm not worried about it. Just like 7-8 years ago, I offended them somewhere along the way. They would never tell me what I did wrong. But all of a sudden it was like they said I offended, and they would never tell me what I did. They would never. I said, well, what can I do? Is there anything I can do for you? And how can we resolve this? They didn't want to resolve it. And I'm not using last names either, but there's not a lot of couples out there, Crow and JD. But
It was kind of a bummer because they were fun.
They were fun people and they were good friends. So I apparently did something in the mix there that they stopped talking to me. And I don't know what it was. Frankly, they never let me know. So there was no money between any of us. There was no nothing. I did logo designs for them. I never made fun of Native Americans because we had Nikki, remember? Nikki was Native American too. Here, there you go.
Come on, go potty. No one wants to watch.
We can't see yet. Now we can. You're standing up. That's the view we had last night, folks. There it is. She mooned us all, but you can't see below her waist in the reflection. So.
Forgot to wash my hands.
Oh, gross. They're all wet too and everything.
They are.
So there she is. What are you doing anyway? Oh, you're dancing in the mirror.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'm going to bed for real. I'm going to bed for real. Can you hear me? I'm
There she
going
is.
to bed for
She's
real.
gonna go to bed for real now. All right.
Realsies.
For realsies. Bye.
Good night.
I love you. So
Sometimes.
sometimes I could live without you. Sometimes I just want a trailer. All right. I feel muzzled, says Dave. Not sure why. Sometimes people grow apart and look for an excuse just to move on. I get that. What was that in reference to? Nikki. Oh, my old friends. Yeah. That was weird. Nikki, I talk to not a lot anymore, but we talk. When we talk, it's really genuine, and we're still pretty close. Nikki Crew. She was Nikki Crew Jones now, and she's a movie maker, independent filmmaker. They live down in Florida now. They moved from Minnesota to Florida. Michelle says, Nate is my youngest son, and the reason I will make the magic elixir. I'll cure what ails you. Matt Finn, sometimes people, grow apart. Yeah. Let's see. Dave feels muzzled. Why do you feel muzzled, Dave? Chase her up there, Roberts. Oh, I will. She's in tending to the little kids right now. So I'm out of here in a few minutes. So, but she's got Ellery's having some problems back there. So they're awake at 11:30 at night. This is usually 8:30 when this happens. So you've been silenced, Dave? Who silenced you? Dancing with myself, says Michelle Canham Free. Yeah. I will tell you this. I will share this with you. My wife promised me sexual favors of a certain brand if I finished a big project in 3 days next week. It's not going to it can't happen. It's just impossible to happen. She said, you finish that by Thursday or Friday? She said, I will blank. And so I'm like, oh, I'm on it. I'll work on it as best I can. Oh, you lost your link. Sorry, Dave. Crazy energies afoot, says Michelle Canham Free. Indeed. So, we're supposed to have a nice day here tomorrow up here in Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's supposed to be about 70 degrees tomorrow. Nothing's impossible, Field Guy says, especially when you have that carrot dangled out in front of your face. So, make it happen, Scotty Roberts says, Sean Stroik. You can do it. I will make it happen. It's a huge project, though. It's about, God. I don't know that I could do it in 3 days. It's about a 3-week project. So, Susie Q, love you guys. Didn't realize you were still on. Hey, Susie Q. We're just getting ready to call it quits here because I'm about done. I have other business best done away from radio. And on top of that, I'm tired. So, motivation, Michelle Canfree says. Indeed, motivation. So, and, Susie Q, we're not really on, we're on the chat and the YouTube. We're not on the radio anymore, of course, for the night. So, David Castle, greetings in favor, he says. And it's, now that some of you are coming in, I got to go. It's time for me to get out of here. And so, thanks everybody for being here. And those of you who stuck around, there's a good dozen of you here that I can see anyway. Probably a lot more that I can't see. But I appreciate your being here. I don't know if you can hear that. The kids are all just yelling back there. It's nuts. So, anyway, what am I looking at? Oh, yeah, it's still going on. So, all right. So I got to get out of here because it has grown late and I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to find my tab. There we are. All right, guys. Give the kids a hug for me, says Uncle Dave. I will do that. Good night and take care. Scotty Robertson, Intrepid, says Sean Stroik. Good to have you here, brother. Glad you could make it. We'll see you on probably Sunday morning. If not, it'll be Monday night. You can almost count on Sunday morning. I'll announce it if we don't do Sunday morning. And Morgan Snow, have a good night. Susie Q, have a good night. And Michelle Kenham Free, have a good night. And who else is in here? Barbie D, you have a good night. Sean, Uncle Dave, Matt Finn, glad you made it in here tonight. David Castle. And I don't think I've missed anybody. If I did, Field Guy, you're around here somewhere too, I think. And that might be it for who's showing their face anyway. So thanks again. You guys have a good night. I'm going to get out of here now for good. You live long and prosper. Have a good night.